Hello and welcome back to our game of 80 days where we're going around the world as fast as possible, and we're just now departing towards India from a city which name I forgot unfortunately. The Hadil was a steam yacht with barquentine sails and a compound steam engine dwarfed by the ornate pleasure boats. Um, Alongside her, most private yachts were owned by wealthy merchants and the aristocracy who used them as glorified ballrooms, whereas the Hadale was worked as a whaler until recently, but she was currently loaded with Bahrainian pearls and bound for the port of Bombay, which is where we're going as well. So we have no choice but to wait, it seems, and we can read the news. Paris World Fair, a roaring success. Yes, we also attended it and enjoyed our time there. So we're going through the straits here. We departed. I allowed my master to board first, as was customary, and spend the evening repackaging, recovering, repacking all of our clothes. A calm start to our maritime voyage. Yes, we have good relations, I think, overall. So we're straight. Oh, he's deteriorating. We are straight sailing past Bombay. Let's see. Guild spokesman confirms. Bomb in soup, not aimed at fog. Okay. That story happened last time. Today we rounded the famous Strait of Ormuz, an impossibly small channel of water linking the Persian Gulf with the open ocean. We nearly collided. A steamship flying the flag of the British India and carrying a cargo of rice and ghee. Monsieur Fogg went positively green on deck. I must admit, I greeted the open ocean with renewed distaste, gratitude, let's say, after the crowded strait, and was carried off to sleep with the rhythmic gurglings of the Hadil's boilers. Okay, Monsieur Fogg is not enjoying the journey here on the open ocean, so let's try to make him comfortable. Most entertaining. We spotted a whale, though apparently it was not a whale after all, but a dreaded sea monster which was recently eaten an entire steamer bound for Malacca, hull and all. I had not heard of such a beast, but apparently it prowled all 7 oceans without exception and was impossibly fast and deadly. Ships had been going missing for years, and there was even some talk of an international expedition to hunt the creature. The crew of the Hadil, however, had no such dreams of glory. I watched for the monster shadows for several hours, but to my misfortune, or perhaps my luck, we saw no further sign of it. Indeed, perhaps I should take it as luck, and we're heading into Bombay. Our first glimpse of Bombay was a fluttering mass of colorful sails and gaily decorated hulls. Enormous schooners and steamships were docked in the deep waters of the harbour, swarmed by little fishing vessels and sailboats. The sky was enlivened by airships in all sizes and configurations. Steam and smoke poured into the sky. Alas, I was already sweating by the time the Hadil docked. Well, it will be pretty heaty here, the Indian subcontinent. Let's see about the market here. You can buy some dominoes, tobacco. Southern Hemisphere timetable. I think that would be nice. If I sell this, I'm not sure if it will be an issue. That we don't. If I sell this, that we don't have anything here. To Singapore, I think we definitely will go to Singapore. So we'll sell the traveling cloak, I think, and go for the Singapore stuff. Air Traveler. Let's assume we might go to Hong Kong. And why not? Let's buy some more stuff. So from Batavia to Singapore, or the other way around. And then we can go here to Manila, also to Singapore. Okay, from Auckland. Okay, I don't think, hopefully, that we have to go to New Zealand, so that sounds like very far off the beaten path. We can go to Pitcairn. Oh my god. I'm not sure if we will go so much south, hopefully not. So I'm on fine form, we must make haste. Let's see about the traveling that we can do anyway. So going here towards the southern end here and then maybe towards Colombo, that already sounds like very enticing. Making the northern route towards Calcutta, the Indian State Railway, like a direct ride to Calcutta would be very agreeable also though. I like traveling by railway. Here we would take also railway though. So money is no objection. Let's see if we can negotiate it. Tomorrow for 790. Let's see, I think that does give us a little bit more things. So tomorrow at 12 we'll depart. That gives us some time to explore Bombay and then retire for an evening dinner before heading out of the city. Monsieur Fox cared not a straw for the wonders of Bombay, but gave me a few hours of leisure as he settled to his luncheon. I ended up wheezing and puffing my way up the Malabar Hill, the highest point in South Bombay. I paused at the top to look towards the city. I could see the gas lamps along the Queen's Necklace of Marine Drive being lit one by one in preparation for the evening, and palm trees waving in the salt-scented breeze. Catching my breath, I found my steps irresistibly drawn towards the Hanging Gardens, which shielded the Parsi towers of silence from the bay. The Hanging Gardens were magnificent. Little steam-powered curricles and horse-drawn carriages vied for space underneath the shady trees. British officers escorted their stiff-bodied wives or made eyes at brightly dressed Indian girls, and in the shadows of the gardens I saw the symbol of the copper lily on the door of a converted mansion. So we could go with the artificers, like we are maybe curious about it. We have still the medallion. I approached and knocked on the door, and I was given a cup of tea and a cushioned wicker chair almost as soon as I crossed the threshold to this outpost of the Artificers Guild. The setting was opulent, an open plaza lit from skylights above, lined with palm trees and large urns. A fountain in the middle of the room had been converted to pump steam, which drove the pistons of a gilt-edged suspended organ which clattered out a lively tune. A middle-aged Sikh in a bright blue turban and admirably pressed trousers approached me. What is it you require, traveller? I showed him my artificer's medallion, and he took it from me solemnly. I see. You have been in service of our guild in the past, he remarked. Well then, how can I help you? My master and I are going around the world. The man nodded. I see. Well then, welcome to Bombay. I'm interested in transportation. The other one sounds a bit rude. After he says welcome and we say, like, how can we get out of here? What inventions have you made? The artificers bickered amongst each other in at least 6 different languages before Dharmapal, the Sikh, smiled. We've invented many small things that are useful but not important, like caps that prevent water from falling from bottles, then tipped suddenly upside down. But in transportation we have done nothing. So the fastest route from here is the train? Perhaps, though myself I would head south to Colombo, where there are airships. I thanked the artificers profusely before taking my leave, though alas I was distracted by my musings that I failed to notice 2 thuggish fellows with ill intent who cornered me on the side street and demanded my shoes. Should we fight for our shoes? A man's shoes are his castle, I contended, which had the laudable effect of confusing them for a few minutes while I attempted to discreetly but ultimately fruitless escape. I returned to my master barefoot and rather shamefaced. Well, they only took our shoes at least. I hope that this will not happen again, said my master coldly. That was to be the last word on Bombay, gateway to the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, except for And what, pray, has happened to your shoes? Ah. Did we lose our... Yeah, we lost the medallion. Okay, so we lost the medallion for almost no good reason, to be honest. That sucks. So we're not going to Madras. So he advised me to go to Colombo. Right? But we decided to go to Calcutta. Why did we decide that? Because I thought this would be a ship, I guess. Should we stick to our plan? Or should we follow the advice of the artificers? We already wasted some money on this. Longer train journey or like going by airship longer journey? I mean, we don't even know how to continue from Calcutta. Here we have a clear journey at least. Decisions. Because here we know the T-Clipper, right? But the artificers said there would also be... The artificers said there are airships. But the airships could also not go to Singapore. They could maybe go somewhere else. Okay, we'll stick to our original road, I think. I think we will not go any other way. So for now, let's retire for the night. Before retiring... Well, I will not stretch my legs without shoes. I attend to Monsieur Fox, ensuring he was comfortable with the dear wish he would have a restorative night. So we have good relations, and we shall then depart towards Calcutta on the Indian Railway. High temperatures. Okay, this will be very bothersome. Maybe it would have been advisable to check the shops for clothing. The clerk who took our money counted it out fastidiously and then recounted it before issuing us a ticket. A ticket to Calcutta, Sahib. 4 days, no faster way in the world. What about airships? Airships are fast, yes, of course, she replied, still smiling, but they are not as opulent as our train. I look forward to the journey. Yes, very good. You will see. You will wake up a new man in Calcutta, Sahib. She gave me an edged smile. I should have known she was lying, but we boarded the train in blissful ignorance of our fate. Ugh. Let's wait a bit. Phileas Fox attempts around the world adventure. And we're now going a little bit northwards across India. The train started with a sharp screech, but entirely punctual. We shared our compartment with a tall, fair fellow by the name of Sir Francis. He was an old India hand. The master made no secret of the circumstances of his journey, and our new friend clearly thought him entirely devoid of common sense. An uncharitable view, which did not endear me to him. Our wager was now in full swing. So, are we weary of our pace? I think we're already in India. So we still need to go over Asia, and then towards America, and then back to Europe. So in 20 days we're already here. To be honest, I'm not that concerned about anything. We look pretty good. Our wager was now in full swing, and I began to worry over delays and obstacles, both imagined and real. Monsieur Fox's cool-headed demeanor seemed incroyable and made me admire him all the more. While stiffening my resolve to aid him in his winning his wager at any cost. I slept fitfully, though the berths were comfortable enough. I had an uneasy feeling about our journey across India. Let's see. So we're skipping northern India. Let's attend to him a little bit, since we know that the journey here will be quite hard. Today, Sir Francis told me the regions where we were passing through, Monsieur Fogg, who was not travelling, but merely describing a circumstance, preferred to reread his edition of the Morning Post. I was more interested in acquiring new shoes. Are we still barefoot? Well, let's listen to him. It seems like it might be useful for our journey. I listened eagerly to his bloody stories about Aurangabad, capital of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, and the rock-cut temples and ancient caves of Ellora, which had Buddhist and Jain inscriptions as well as Hindu. It sounds wondrous. Wondrous indeed, and dangerous. Sir Francis shot me a serious look. There are rumours of Kali Bakets in the forests of Jharkhand. They are devotees of Kali, the red-tongued Hindi goddess of death. I have heard rumors that these devotees have been the cause of some recent disturbances. What kind of disturbances? Sir Francis sighed deeply. They have been murdering travelers, leaving the corpses on display as grotesque warning to the British Raj. Okay, this is a recent development? I felt certain trepidations about our route. The Kali Bakets operate in the territory of the independent Maharaja of Gwalior, governed by one of the Liege Rajas who died last month. The Raj's death was the start of all the trouble. Sir Francis sighed volubly again, and we lapsed into comfortable silence for the rest of our journey that day. Crazy. Let's try to avoid getting out before Calcutta. Oh, I want to take care of the master. The train conductor woke us up as we passed along the carriages, shouting, "Passengers will get out here!" Monsieur Fogg gave me a look, and so I determined to find a way to make our journey continue. We want to go to Calcutta, for sure. We paid the full journey. Though my hopes on that were quickly dashed when I discovered there was no more tracks. What? What? Apparently the papers had... I bought a ticket to Calcutta. How the hell I no tracks? Apparently the papers had been somewhat overzealous in reporting the railway's completion. The track was altogether missing between Allahabad and Calcutta. Sir Francis looked quite ready to knock on the conductor flat on his back, though my master betrayed not even the slightest hint of dismay. I asked the conductor, who merely shrugged and pointed towards the minarets of the city. "Everyone must organize their own transportation," he said, cutting off my remonstrations. A boy, not long out of his short trousers, seemed to take pity on us, or at least had wished to practice his English, and directed us towards a local merchant who had recently purchased a large mechanical elephant from Bombay. Oh no. A mechanical elephant. So can we already depart? Should we already depart, or should we explore our option? 2,900 on a freaking elephant. And this is like a super hard journey also. Okay, I think we owe ourselves at least to explore quickly. This is otherwise a bit too much. Okay, we can go to Benares. So let me just... Can I zoom out again? So we can go to Benares first. And from there, maybe we can make our way south. Or we can go here. But at least this is a better journey than a stupid mechanical elephant. That sounds like crazy. Allahabad was a charming enough town, though not, it must be said, a desired destination of ours. Beyond the city limits and between us, our goal lay in the forest of Jharkhand, and populated by tigers, pythons, elephants, and apparently bandits. I made a really big mistake to come up north here, I think. Monsieur Fogg was his usual phlegmatic self, but I was beside myself. I worry. This was an unexpected and unwelcome delay. Yeah, exactly what I was worrying about. So, no help to that. So we can depart here on Friday. Today's Monday. We need to negotiate this. Tomorrow for 6:20. Yes, please. With a carriage. Yes, please. Tomorrow we'll be out of here. Today we'll rest. We took a room and settled in, and I spent a while talking to the hotelier to learn what I could, and obtained nothing but advice for starching colors. Well, I mean, that's maybe useful as well. So to Calcutta with the elephant, no way. We'll go to Benares. Ooh, thick jungle and uncomfortable. Okay, the master is going to be very unhappy with any of these options. Taking a car through the dense jungles was fairly clearly, I think, yet another error. That we did for the sake of a few £1,000 fills me with shame. And that a gentleman should choose to throw a bet. But of course there are no banks in the jungle. You cannot spend goodwill. Let's take care of our master. He will need all the attention now. The wheels of the cart came off. Fixing them took an hour or so, and every man of us was forced to join the work, Monsieur Fogg included. rolling up his sleeves and raising his eyebrows with disdain. The work was muddy and hard, and once done, the cart ran no smoother than before. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Sir Francis. Good day to you, Mr. Prospector. So from Benares, can I go to Voltaire? You know. You mentioned trains. I've been told my friend always wanted to take the Transcontinental Express from Salt Lake City to Omaha. Well, yeah, and what about... That's not the question, my friend. Can I go from Voltaire to Calcutta, or where we would want to go? I don't know, from Singapore? Never mind, merchants in San Pedro will pay huge amount. Yeah, thanks. That's not the question. Can I go from Voltaire to Calcutta? Have you heard them buys this guy? Like, what is this? He's already talking nonsense. So San Francisco, Salt Lake City, that sounds like a good journey there. That sounds like a good journey. I expect the journey through America will be much more pleasant than the Indian subcontinent here. Today we stopped in a small village of busy locals. They peered in at us through the sides of the cart, but Monsieur Fogg was asleep most of the day, and I kept my hat pulled low over my eyes. The donkey cart. And we're arriving in Benares early in the morning at least. The road is so bumpy and potholed I can barely ride. Briefly, we passed some kind of festival. In the distance, though, the trees were made out of dancing figures and smoke and fire. It seemed most intriguing, but before we could see exactly what it might be, it was lost between the trunks once more. Thankfully, the journey was almost over. Our driver had begun to smile with his one tooth, hoping, I think, for some kind of bribe for his great service to us. I did not think Monsieur Fogg was inclined to pay, and for myself that I can so much as hold a pen at this moment is a luxury. I'm certainly too stiff and sore to count any notes. Alright. So can we exactly depart already? Yes, we can. Okay. Yeah, let's go. 42 minutes, I don't have time to go to the market even. But let's go out of here as fast as possible. We approached the station with some pleasure. The sight of a well-fitted-out train carriage soothed the soul. As I load myself, Monsieur Fox, and the 2 cases abroad, I asked his opinion on the route. He looked indifferent. It is the speed that counts, not the furniture. Still, once sitting in it, he seemed more relieved. This would be a chance to relax. Let's hope so, because he's really in a bad state, actually, to be honest. A game of dominoes with you, how enjoyable. Yeah, we need to really take care of this guy. We traveled in a compartment with 2 Kashmiri women holding babies and quite clearly discussing my master and me in their native tongue. Maybe we can find with them like a way forward from there. Care to share the joke, ladies? I asked her genially. They flushed and flapped their hands with alarm, rather upsetting their small charges. Sorry, Sahib, we meant no harm. What were you talking about? I asked with a smile. It is only... The younger girl looked at her companion. We were wondering, is your wife not traveling with you? I have no wife. She looked shocked. But Sahib, you're so well dressed. Who presses your clothes if not your wife? Her companion leaned in. Aren't you a little old to be a bachelor? I'm a very good age, I said with affronted dignity. We passepartouts mature like fine wine and do not curdle like old milk. But don't you wish to be married? Perhaps one day, I said, evasingly, wondering what it was they thought nice Kashmiri girls at school, that they were so forward. Monsieur Fogg emitted a cough, which sounded suspiciously like a laugh, but neither of the 2 ladies tried to question him at all for the length of our journey to Voltaire. Tout alors, life heaps dignities only upon poor Passepartout. indignities. Only on poor Passepartout. And yeah, our master is... poor guy. We arrived early next morning. The ladies nodded farewell and stepped from the train. Monsieur Fogg and I myself somewhat stumbled. The infants had been less than docile in the small hours of the night. Let's see. So here we certainly have to have some time. We can sell our Indian subcontinent thing. Beijing. Oh, going to Singapore, probably could use this. Urban Traveler. Canton, Beijing, Brisbane. Let's try to sell that off. Caribbean I think is far off. I don't think we need it. So let's then explore. So we can go to Madras, Calcutta, Rangoon. Okay. Exploring the busy streets of Voltaire, I found myself lost in the sights and smells of two culture. The dress of England, the buildings of Europe. The dress of England, with the colours and heat of India. It was its own place, of course, not truly either, and I wondered how long such a hybrid could last. As I returned towards Monsieur Fogg, I passed a large building set behind a high wall with ironwork fence. I paused to peer through the gate, and I heard from inside the blood-curdling scream. I rushed forward, but of course the gate was sealed and I could not enter the yard. A man crossing the path, pushing a blanket figure in a wheelchair. He paused to regard me coolly from behind his spectacles. "What do you want?" he demanded. "What is this place?" "This is the Meadowhall Hospital for the Criminally Insane," he replied, matter-of-factly. "You would do well to move on." With that, he turned away. The figure in the chair leaned back to peer at me. I saw she was nothing but a girl. Her eyes were wide with a plea for help, but then the chair was spun around, and she was pushed towards the forbidden building. Oh. Okay. Crazy. So we would like to go here, I guess, on Monday. We would tomorrow at 1 p.m. To go to Calcutta, I think would be not the right choice. So we'll go to Rangoon. Never heard of the city of Rangoon, to be honest. So let's then go to the hotel. It's pretty early. You can also go to a bank, just if you're wondering, to get some money from Villiers' bank account if you want to, but like we have so much money, it's not necessary for us, I think. So we will spend the night here in Voltaire. Behind the Mem Sahib's pinched smiles, the British residency where we dined was an utter uproar. The commissioner had been packed off back to London with such haste that a replacement had not been chosen, much less dispatched. No doubt he had caused a scandal of unfathomable proportions to be so unceremoniously ousted from such a high position. Madame Lefeu, the assistant commissioner's heavily pregnant wife, dabbed at her eyes with a handkerchief. "And to think he was a peer of the realm," she explained, a gentle sorrow. "Still, I suppose he was Scottish." I leaned closer and affected an interested expression. As Madame Lefeu rang for more tea, which was served with consummated skill by Banu, a dark-skinned Indian servant in a yellow sari. "Poor Lord Thanok, we British must resist native vices and dissipations, if we are to civilize this country." Did Lord Thanok fall to temptation? I asked quickly, hoping she would not notice the impropriety of my question. "Poor Lord Thanok," she repeated, dabbing her eyes anew. "And poor Lady Thanok too, of course." I caught Madame Banu's eyes and followed her from the room after making some excuse. "Can you write a letter to Lord Thanok?" she demanded, rounding at me. Why do you wish to write to him?" "It's not for me." She sighed and put down the heavy tea service on a mahogany table nearby. "Lord Thanok's lover wishes to write him a note, and Mrs. Lefeu will not hear of it." "Oh." I will help you, I promised impulsively. Madame Banu seized my hand and led me away from the residence and through a maze of half-covered streets. Okay, interesting. That we just abandoned the missus. Interspersed with ancient Buddhist ruins, with stone stelae and intricate relief carvings in various stages of excavation. We darted down a back alley and slipped inside a small wooden house. The inside was dim, but draped in yellow and orange silks, which did not quite alleviate the dinginess of the establishment. Madame Banu pulled up short. I must tell you, she said, casting her eyes down. She is a hijra. At my incomprehension, she continued, her voice holding a note of warning. She was born male, but she's now a woman. You will treat her like any other lady. Is this a common practice here? It is not uncommon, Madame Banu replied, before turning away. Amru, I found someone to write your letter. A woman with long black hair and beautifully cold eyes emerged from the inner room and embraced Madame Banu before thanking me prettily. I could see a certain resemblance between them, and Madame Amru laughed at my expression. She's my sister, she confirmed. Did she not tell you? Banu, you are too sly. Only sly enough to get you out of your latest scrape, Madame Banu retorted. Shall we write this foolish letter then? Amru said with brittle brightness. I will not break the lady's confidence and tell you the contents of her letter, but I conversed with her a little as I wrote it. Do you regret your affair? I asked. I will never regret Percival, she said fiercely, though her expression quickly softened. I do not regret letting him endanger his position. He asked his wife for a divorce so that we could be together. I should have known it would never be. He wished to marry you? I exclaimed. Is that so surprising? She asked, arching one brow, that a man should wish to marry the woman he loves? Her equanimity shamed me. I hope he is worth of your devotion. I handed her the letter, and she held it lightly between her fingers as though it was something infinitely precious. Madame Banu took me back to the residence and thanked me once again. She handed me a little emerald charm in the shape of a blue eye. This will protect you against the evil eye. Thank you, madame, I said gravely. I returned to an irate Monsieur Fogg, who demanded to know where I was been. Performing a service for a lady, I told him. I do not know why I asked, Monsieur Fogg responded. Come, it's time for us to go. I slipped the little blue charm, into my master's pocket. Let's say he needs the luck a little bit more than me, and hoped it would ward off any evil gazes turned into our directions in the little scandal-riven colonial town of Voltaire. Yeah, we're now a little bit courageous. So, departing towards Rangoon. Oh, we're gonna lose so much health again. I thought minus 37. We boarded the rather unimaginatively named Bengal Tiger just as it was about to depart. We always leave on time, Captain Joshi harumphed as the painter was dropped and we quickly stowed our bags and ourselves in the cabin. Let us see if you can even be early, I cried as we went below. The captain laughed. Indeed we can, was his rejoinder. You just watch. Then the engines were fired and we took off across the water at a terrific speed. That's good news. So let's take care of our master a bit. It's definitely needed. We're pounding across the water at a terrific rate. I took my mind off the heat. Again, waiting on my master's need, I think. Is definitely needed, unfortunately, here. I would love to find like more what we can travel from here on out, but my master is in such a state that I need to take care of him a bit. As the evening came on, the crew brought out their vinas and tablas and began to play boisterous tunes. A few of the younger members of the crew began to dance, and soon there was a good-natured rivalry between the men and the women. I joined the men and attempted to mimic their quick steps about the deck with some success, as the women made mocking sounds and exhorted us to better performances. I cannot say who won the match, but my dreams were underpinned by the sound of a hand striking a tabla in a wild rhythm. Oh my god, the poor master. This is the Andaman Sea, I was told by one of the deckhands at the rounded a point of land. Rangoon is there. Is that where you're going? Only for a day or so, perhaps. That's good, the deckhand replied. Be careful, she advised. They say a monster prowls Rangoon Street, devouring all those with evil thoughts. Okay. I thought myself in considerable danger, therefore, and was not looking forward to arrival. We docked a few hours later and disembarked, and I found myself checking regularly over my shoulder as we made our way through the streets. So it's still early morning at least. So let's check quickly the market. Silk for Hong Kong. A Buddha's tooth. Okay, definitely true. I mean, why? Who would lie about this? Dominoes, tobacco, Singapore, the charm, wool shirts and stuff. We definitely need that for keeping him warm. Yeah, no, I think we will not buy anything. We'll just go exploring to see how we can get out of here. Okay, going north would be crazy. I would prefer to go south to Batavia, yeah. Rangoon still bore the marks of its capture at the hand of the British in the last Anglo-Burmese War. So I intended to make as much as I could of my French accent while I was here, but even such a course would not save me. I'd taken a mere 2 steps from the veranda of our lodgings when an enormous shadow darkened the street. There was a grinding shriek and hot breath, and then I was seized in a great iron claw. What the hell? I tried to wiggle away, but a set of jeweled talons pinched into my chest and held me firm. The ground fell away in a dizzying rush. The automation was not flying precisely, but rather leaping with a powerful bunching of hydraulics and gears. With 3 powerful jumps, the creature sealed a nearby temple and deposited me at the very top of the pagoda. I dared to look at my captor, only to find myself similarly scrutinized by a pair of jewel-faceted predator's eyes. The automaton was an enormous, gilded iron lion with a heartbreaking human porcelain face and torso. Its mane was made out of strands of uncut rubies, glimmering like blood in the river-washed sun. Of its teeth, the less said the better. Suffice to say, I was quite discomforted by the clinging to the very tip of the pagoda's tower, mere inches from its jaws. I am Manusia, it said in a grating rumble, and you are in my city, Jean Passepartout. Okay. You know my name, I demanded, my distaste for my Christian name overriding my fear. I know every creature that comes here. I'm the protector of the city. I know the whys and hows of every creature that passes through my domain. But your purpose is a mystery. We are going around the world, I declared, but with far less than my usual gusto, aware as I was of the long drop which awaited me if I chose my words without care. The world is a dangerous place, Manasuhira said, grinding its iron teeth in a horrible smile, and you Europeans only make it more so, wherever you go. You are a watchdog of the king, I suggested, like the Chinth who sits in front of a temple. Manusia shook his blank human face from side to side in a clatter of rubies. I'm an imperial advisor to King Pagan, and no simple collection of gears and levers. I could scarcely believe Manusia's calm, philosophical discourse, but I insisted. Who made you? Manusia sighed, a hot gust. I was once a royal child's toy, a man-eating lion with cushioned teeth and emerald eyes. But there was some spark in my shard which allowed me to build, to create myself. I cannibalized the other toys in the imperial nursery. I bit and soldered and scratched myself into being. You are your own creator. I breathed in horror, wonder. I do not rightly know. I have only begun. Manasuhia seemed to preen, every inch a feral lion wrapped around a combustion engine. Enjoy my city, Jean Passepartout, but when you leave, you will go to Pansao Pass. But there is no route that way. There will be. It seized me in its warm paw once more and leapt to the streets in one heart-stopping bound. By the time I had finished shaking, Manusia was gone, his last ambiguous word echoing in my head. I wondered how much of the Kingdom of Burma's secret change of fortune could be ascribed to the protector of Rangoon. I wondered whether the people of Burma would one day proclaim themselves subject to an automaton king. I wondered if he would truly be worse than a monarch of flesh and blood. I wondered many other things, best left unvoiced. So they want the thing wants us to go north. To go north here by an airship. I'm not so sure if that's a good idea, to be honest. We would all go all the way through China. I would much rather go down south here. So we could go for 280 extra tomorrow. Yeah. We'll do that. So, yeah, that will be that. This one is valuable in Batavia, where we want to go. That's why I was thinking to maybe purchase it, but we cannot have a new suitcase, I guess. Southern Hemisphere, Beijing, Brisbane. This one also very valuable there. I mean, when it says valuable, sometimes it's only like 100 or 200 bucks, so it's not that much. I think we'll stick with it, even though it's valuable. We'll go to the hotel and sleep through the night and then depart early in the morning before the lion comes back. So I went out to explore the streets of Rangoon during the cool evening, but could not shake the strange, picking sensation of being watched. I retreated quickly, back to where Monsieur Fox was waiting. Passepartout, he remarked with an assessing look. You look positively haggard. Yes, I would wish to take care of my master, ideally. But let's find a way out of the city. But before we do, that'll be the end of this episode, and we'll continue next time. See you then. Bye-bye.